made it to Chirohustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channel and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, and Invisired. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 358 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I am your co-host, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Dale Smith. And if you want to hear about how to build a legacy of chiropractic through rugby, stay tuned. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. Today we have a huge supporter of chiropractor, friend of mine I met 14 years ago, Dr. Dale Smith, coming in here from the Memphis, Tennessee area. My co-host Luke Millette coming in from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and myself coming in from Grand Junction, Colorado. And before we get this episode started, the big why does Chiro Hustle do what we do? We support chiropractic, number one, but we also support free speech. And I think that that's so important in today's arena when we think about what's happening in our country at large. So we do support free speech in chiropractic and free speech in general. We also support the Sacred Trust. If you don't know what that is, go and find it. Go do your favorite browser and do these searches and find some information that will help you understand this profession a whole lot better. And on top of that, we do support the subluxation-based chiropractor, subluxation in the vernacular of chiropractic, and the concept and the wording of universal intelligence and innate intelligence. And I think that when we do that, we actually stand for something, and we interview chiropractors. And love doing this. And this is episode 358. And I just want to give you a warm welcome, Dr. Dale Smith.
Thank you. I'm glad to be with you again.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. It's been a long time coming. It's awesome to have you on the show. And I know that we both do a lot to support Palmer Rugby. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about that sometime during this interview together. But let's just jump right into this one. And I know that when I first met you, I didn't know your chiropractic story, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't, but your friends, your family, your colleagues, your classmates, they're all going to listen to this. All the old boys are going to listen to this. So let's give them a good show. Tell them your chiropractic story.
Well, it's a pretty unique one for me. I actually started playing rugby in 1976 at the University of Arkansas, and had finished school there and had moved to Jackson, Mississippi. And my dad had unfortunately had a quadruple bypass surgery here in Memphis. So I made the trip up to see my dad, and just so happened it was the weekend of the Memphis and May rugby tournament. And Palmer rugby alumni was actually playing in the tournament. So as fate in the universe would have it, I actually checked into the same hotel that the Palmer rugby team was staying in. And as soon as I walked in the door, I hear a few of the guys down at the bar going, "It's a prop, it's a prop." They were short one of the guys. They just weren't able to make the trip, and they needed a prop. And here I am. I walk in, and so once I get checked in, I actually go down to the bar and have a conversation with him, because my plans were to actually play with the Memphis team during the tournament. And so I said, "Sure, absolutely." I knew who they were because I had just actually played against them when I played for Jackson. This was in May, so it was the November prior to. We were at the Battleship tournament. And we had actually played against the college team. The old boys were there as well. So it's kind of funny. We ended up playing. We won the tournament. And we're all celebrating in the hot tub, having a few cocktails. And Sinclair Warner, South African coach at the time for the alumni, invited me to go to Tucson, Arizona that November. Said, "Hey, we'll pay your way. Just come play with us." I'm like, "Well, what the hell? I'll do it." And I ended up not only going there, I played with them in, I wrote it down, San Francisco and the Bahamas. And then it cultivated back in Mobile, Alabama, where I was driving home and I said, "I'm going to chiropractic school." I had my own insurance and investment business at the time. Uh, I was actually in Arkansas trying to help my dad out after he had his heart attack. And I just made a decision. This is what was meant for me. And I remember calling Scotty, not Scotty, but Mark Castile and saying, "Hey, what the hell I got to do to get in school?" So I found out a few of the classes I had to take, and I went over to Arkansas State to take a few of the classes, and ultimately found out that if you just move to Davenport and go to Scott County Community College, you could get these classes much quicker. And that's exactly what I did. And I moved there in was August of 1990. And then, I started in October of 1990. We were going to play our first Palmer Life game and met my wife on the rugby bus going to the event. And Dr. Carol and I have been together ever since. And we actually have 2 boys that are in Palmer right now. So we're very blessed to have that happen. And, God has planned for us, and we don't always know what the hell it is. And, here I am, almost 30 years in practice.
Nice. Yeah.
And now here you are, 30 years in practice. What are some things that you say would make you unique or different in the chiropractic world?
Over the years, more you practice, the more you develop your own techniques and the things that you do that you find that works. And I do pride myself. I see a lot of patients from other chiropractors that complain that they're not getting movement into the spine. They don't feel like they're getting results. And I think my uniqueness is I can move a bone just as good as about anybody that I've been around. It's not bragging. It's just hard work and dedicated and tens of thousands of adjustments over the years. And I started doing certain things on my own and developed a few things that I am good at. And that's what makes me unique is I'm good at what I do with my hands.
Yeah, that's for sure. First time I met you, I came down there through Memphis and I got adjusted by it. I'm like, this guy, he knows how to adjust. And I'm sure it's something to be proud. You should have pride in that, man, because
That was 13, 14 years ago. We just discussed that earlier.
Yeah. And being a good adjuster is something that makes a good chiropractor. And I think that's really the foundation of the profession. It's the unique defining proposition of what chiropractic is. Chiropractors adjust. And I think that is something that's essential. And I think something else that makes you unique. I don't know. I should have asked you this before we jumped on, but how many people have you helped get into chiropractic college and become chiropractors? I think that makes you unique.
I don't know. I've influenced a lot of people to go to school. Not all of them have gone to Palmer, but I honestly have never kept count. I
know it's a lot.
Is the Castiles. They're probably close to 100 by now. But I don't know, 20, 30 people maybe.
That's impressive, man. And that's just it, is we have to rise the future. And I think that's something that we have to be considerate of is creating great chiropractors that are good adjusters and with good leadership and good fundamentals. And I think
I agree. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but just my granddaughter, Alex, his youngest, had her first birthday party first weekend of February, and my son Steven put together a group of his classmates for technique afternoon with them. So I love just going in and helping them. They don't. You're taught one thing in school just so they can grade you, but that's not life, and everybody's spine's different. So that was pretty cool. They asked me to come do that for them.
That's cool. Yeah, and big chiropractic family. How does it feel to see your boys going through school right now?
Jim, that makes me proud. Maybe I've done something right. My wife, Dr. Carol, have done something right over the years to help educate them on what true health's all about. And it's not about drugs and surgery. And, uh, my son Steven and Alex both are just extremely good kids. I'm very proud of both of them. Uh, I just remember Alex going through school and they would talk about vaccinations and health, and he would stand up and say, "No, that's not right." And here he is in junior high, arguing the fact he's a little bit more boisterous than Steven was at that time. But it's just makes me proud. It really does.
That's cool. Yeah, when I met those guys 14 years ago, they're just little dudes.
Yep, things change.
They have changed.
So, with all of your years in practice, what have you found to be the most effective way to schedule in new patients?
Well, I was looking at the question that y'all were going to ask me on that, and it's like, the last 2.5 years have been kind of a cluster F. It's just kind of been screwed up with some of the normal ways that we would have. I used to do community talks. I used to do lunch and learns, dinner talks. We've done events, and a lot of that in the Memphis area was shut down for the longest. And we've utilized Facebook, and Facebook, you know how it is. They change the algorithms; it goes up and down, and we've had some good results and not such good results. But honestly, I'm going to give Jim and Gareth, so Dr. Gareth, some props. Is we've been doing chiro in our clinic for like 3 years now, but we never had the contour lights, and they have a marketing plan that with the contour lights, and we have actually, I think I told you just a little before we got on call, we have done 2 full months, and we've had 170 leads come through for chiro for the contour and chiro and a lot of those are paid already, and we're actually on a waiting list to try to book them, and we just had to pause our ads for a couple of weeks as we just lost our office manager and we're down 1 staff member, so just trying to get everybody in so that we're not pissing other people off. It's been a juggle. And what has been so cool about it is these people come in and they got back pains, they got headaches, they got other issues going on in their health, and those are things that we can actually help them with. And we've had a lot of those people turn into chiropractic patients.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, and Invisired. Let's hustle. Yeah, that's just it. Is the way I like to describe marketing is I learned this from the guys that close for Chiro is give them what they want but sell them what they need. And a lot of times people just want help and they don't know what they need help with. They don't know you can help them with all these things. And they show up and you build a relationship and they see what's going on. You tell them you can help them, and next thing you know, they're not only getting healthy, but now you're helping them with migraines they didn't know that they could get help with, or that limp that they had that they thought they were going to have forever,
I like that's similar to that analogy you said, but I like to say meet them where they are and take them where they need to go.
Yeah, a little bit less salesy.
So oftentimes we notice that chiropractors forget to take care of themselves. So what are some things that maybe you and your family are doing to make sure that your own health is staying up to date?
Oh, absolutely. I'll speak for Dr. Carol and I, because we're the only ones at home now. But our boys follow our recommendations and supplements and food that we try to teach them to eat. But Uh, every single morning, I have a morning ritual. I may take a Sunday morning off from doing some of that sometimes, or especially if I'm traveling, but I do my best to try to get it in. And, the first thing I do when I get up in the morning, uh, outside of my morning bathroom stuff, drink some water, and then sit down and I write in my journal what happened yesterday, the things that I went through, the struggles that I had, the wins that I had. And I have a daily affirmation that I do every morning. I find something that resonates with me right then. And that's my affirmation of the day. And I got right here, I get my Maldives, and, I go through that affirmation 108 times. And then I say a prayer. I always try to pray for my family, my friends, my patients, and myself. Um, and then when I'm done with that, I usually do at least a 10-minute meditation. And when I'm done meditating, I always write 3 things that I'm grateful for. And that's my morning ritual. And then after that, uh, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, Dr. Carol and I have a rebounder here in the house. And we have, weights and all kinds of workout stuff. We'll do a hit exercise with the rebounder. It takes us 15 minutes. We'll rebound fast for 2 minutes and then take a minute break and then do some weights for a minute, 30 seconds, let's say maybe biceps, triceps. And then we change it up here and there, but it takes 15 minutes. I'm in the hot tub after that, hit my steam room, and in the shower. And then on Tuesdays and Fridays, we go to Hot Works, get that infrared workout, do different variety of workouts. And on Saturday and Sundays, it's like if it's nice outside, we'll go for a walk. We got a new European German Shepherd. He's 9 months old and he's 90 pounds, huge. So we will take him for a walk or just go out by ourselves, sit out in the sun. We try to eat right 80% of the time. We try to stick to a keto type diet. And the other 20%, we just let it go and have fun.
Memphis barbecue.
Yeah, we eat some ribs, baby.
The Memphis barbecue diet. So from your own point of view, where do you see chiropractic going in the next 20 years or so?
Get adjusted every week. So does my wife. I'm on the Vibe plate. I do decompression. We do laser treatment on ourselves, whatever is needed to stay healthy.
We kind of lost you for a second. Maybe you didn't hear
I
the
saw that.
next question.
For a minute, and then it came back.
So the next question is, from your own point of view, where do you see chiropractic going in the next 20 years or so?
There's a fork in the road right now where we are, I think. My wife and I had this discussion today too on this. I see chiropractic thriving. And the reason I do is the stuff that we've been through over the last 2.5 years has woke more people up to what health really is. They're seeing the corruption of big pharma, the industrial medical model. It's just horrible, man. The things that they just put in your brain, that what they, health doesn't come from a pill, potion, or lotion. The body parts are meant to be in the body, not cut out of the body. God put all these things in our bodies for reasons. We just need to be able to assist those to work at their optimal through their nervous system, make sure we feed it right, make sure we move right, make sure we think right. And if we could do those things, and I think we're at the precipice right now of, and really the next 2 to 3 years is going to be a big indicator of, and my belief that we're going to be going in the right direction. We're going to get rid of all this corruption, and people are going to take more responsibility for their health rather than depending on, fast food, pills, and injections for health.
Yeah,
So I see us going into better places than we already are, but I would like to see a lot of these schools go in that direction too.
I think that's the anchor statement right there. Chiropractic schools need to go that direction. So then what happens is these kids get out of school and they know how to adjust. And I think that's essential when it comes down to talking about where the profession's going. We need to get adjustment back into the schools and subluxation back into the schools, and people talking about the things that founded chiropractic and not referring out. I think that we have to keep, you know, do no harm and help more people, So, um, yeah, I think you're spot on with the assessment is we can definitely win this right now with the chiropractic profession coming to where we are. Like you said, the health system is a mess, and
Yeah.
people see that it's not clear, and every day they don't know what to do or who to trust, and they're being faced with 200 decisions a day just on what to eat. And people just don't know what to do. It's hard to make decisions, and the one decision is trust somebody that's an expert, and they believe what they're told, and unfortunately the experts aren't telling them good information. So yeah, I think the chiropractic profession, the more that we have stories and conversations like this, it gets more truth out there and people start to ask bigger questions. So
Well, if it
um,
comes from God, it's good. If it comes from man, you better watch out.
That's spot on. So let's transition a bit to more about you. And I know you said a lot of the things about health aren't just about what you eat or how you exercise. A lot of it's the mental game and being prepared game. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that the healthier you are, it's not only about what you eat and how you take care of the body, but it's how you take care of the mind. And I think that you said I journal, I meditate, I do therapy stuff. I think that when people want to get better, and it sounds like you have a great relationship with God too. So when people have spirituality and they have good anchors, they have a better quality of life through all health. And health is a different, there's different silos of health in people's lives. They get the silo of emotional, the physical. And I think if you don't balance that stuff out, that's why you probably see so many people come into your door looking for help and they don't know what's really wrong with them. But when you start doing a proper exam with them, they're like, wow, I didn't know. I didn't know chiropractic could help with that. So
Well, the problem is they're just so confused by going through the medical route because they're going to test, medicate, then medicate more for the medications. And they really don't know what's wrong. And they never talk about diet, or exercise or mental
the mental
thinking.
game.
That they dismiss that whole thing because there's no money in that.
Yeah, that's wild to me. Um, so almost 30 years as a chiropractor. Who have been some of your heroes and mentors in this profession? And if you could have lunch with anybody tomorrow from history, who would that be?
Well, I mean, I have several mentors in this profession. Dr. Fred Schofield is a big mentor. He's who I first started training with when I got out of school. Well, I was hard headed for the first 2 or 3 years, and then just realized I needed to go somewhere. Uh, so, but Dr. Fred's been a big impact. Dr. Sigafus has been a big impact. B.J. Palmer in his writings uh, have been a big impact and influence on how I practice. Uh, and my dad. My dad was he. This May the 26th will be 3 years that he passed away, and he really instilled a lot of good qualities in me, and he was a huge mentor in my life. But if I could sit down for 1 hour I would love to sit down with BJ because we could sit down. He and I would have a bourbon. He could smoke a cigar because I don't smoke cigars. And I would just love to, because his travel, his knowledge of health, the human body, and it's just amazing. There's so many questions I would love to ask him if I had an hour. That would be the guy I'd want to talk to.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of conversations on our show that people would definitely like to get a conversation with BJ. I would just like to know how he disciplined himself to do so much writing.
I don't know. I have to force myself to do my journal. I mean, I'm not a big writer, but I mean, that's what he did. I mean, of course, they didn't have computers or they couldn't, I don't know. I think they had some dictating technology, but man, he did a ton of writing.
Yeah. And people don't know this, but BJ didn't make all of his money through chiropractic. He made it through media.
Yep.
You think BJ
Palmer? Baby.
You think chiropractic? You think BJ Palmer would have a podcast today?
Hell yeah. He certainly would. He certainly would. He would have just recently gone through St. Patty's Day with a pink elephant. Might have painted it green.
Yeah.
And as we start to wrap up the end of this episode, maybe you could close out by sharing some of the most impactful patient testimonials you may have gotten in your office.
I got one that, because over 30 years we've seen a lot of things happen, from kids to young adults to geriatric people, and and Dr. Chiro reminded me of this today when we were having a conversation. I got an email from Dr. Jeff Stickle, who is a Palmer grad. He's a pie brother of mine. He had helped I think it was a young girl that was in a horrific automobile accident. She was in a coma. They didn't expect her to live anymore. And he went in and started working on her. And she was able to walk down and graduate high school. I don't know if y'all heard anything about that story, but that was back in 2014, I guess, 2015. So I wrote down the date real quick for me. I got December the 10th in 2015. He had given me this lady. This lady had reached out to him because of the story that she read, and her niece was 16 years old. She lived in Mississippi. She was unfortunately text messaging and ran head on into a tree. She was in a coma. She broke ribs. She had brain injury. She had brain surgery. She was messed up really, really bad. And she couldn't speak. She wasn't moving. She was on a feeding tube. I mean, it was sad. And she was asking for help. Well, he gave her my name, and I got videos too. And actually, at a philosophy one Friday that I spoke there at Palmer Homecoming, I actually played the video of her starting to move from the bed where I went to treat her. I treated her 2 or 3 days a week for maybe 3 months, and the only reason we stopped is they moved her to a facility closer to Mississippi where they lived. Things, they didn't treat her right. They didn't keep getting chiropractic care. But I want to read you a message. I received an email on November the 4th, 2019. This was from the aunt. She goes, "Thank you for sending your friend." She wrote another email to Dr. Stickle instead of me. Thank you for sending me your friend for help with Angel. Her name was Angel. It is an absolute miracle from seeing her in Med 1 in Memphis and being told she would never walk or talk again. She is now walking, fully bathing, dressing herself, feeding, and some verbal words. She can read and communicate with her laptop. But they were starting to have, because they treated her with meds, and she was starting to have some reactions and kind of lashing out. And she was hoping that she wanted me to help. And I'm like, I'm not there. I can't travel that far. It's an hour away from me. And I referred her to somebody there, but I don't know if they ever went and got treatment or not. But to see her in that state of not moving, not reacting, and then each day we would record, because we would go to the facility she was at. And Dr. Carol, we would work with her arms, with her legs, get some motion in there. I'd adjust her atlas and axis, and that's all I ever adjusted. Every time we went in there, we would stimulate her spine with the arthrostim, just up and down, just to get some stimulation, because she's been laying in bed for so long. And she would look at me when we would walk in that door. Her eyes would open, and you could tell she really wanted to smile. And then the more we walked, and then she got a video where we'd ask her to raise her arm, and she would raise her arm up like this for us. And I mean, it's just like, that's why I do what I do. That is the power of the chiropractic adjustment. For someone that the other medical profession, is telling somebody they can't do something, is when you know you can, but they have no other answers for you, because they can't give you a pill that's going to wake you up. They can't give you a surgery that's going to wake you up and turn on your nervous system. And there's only so much physical therapy they can do until that nervous system starts working at its best, or as best as it can, based on the condition of your spine. You'll never reach optimal health. And we saw that girl just now. I mean, that's wonderful. That was the first time I actually heard all the positive things she was doing almost 5 years later.
Well, Dr. Dale, I want to thank you for sharing that with us. And if people want to learn more about you and your clinic, the website is smithchiropracticcordova.com.
That's correct.
And where else can they go? Do you have any other websites they could go visit?
Oh man, that technology is not my deal. I mean, we have a Facebook page as well. We have a YouTube channel. We just started doing weekly wellness with the docs this year. Just try to get more out, since we're not able to get out in our communities. But they can reach us there. That's
awesome.
Probably the easiest way to get a hold of us.
Well, I want to thank you for being our guest today, and I want to wish you a happy rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Hey, Dale, thanks for being our guest today. It's nice to catch up with you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Take care, guys.
All right,
We'll see you
for now.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.